Hi there. Good morning, everybody. I am just doing all the things in the kitchen right now. We have a grocery haul coming, and not until this evening. I really doubt you'll see it. But this is just what I'm doing today. So I'm in the process of putting this away and then putting this in. And I am cutting, I don't know how you say this word, but they came from Costco. And they're Adele or something like that, Adelaide chicken apple sausages, and I'm slicing them up. I just took one pack, and that's 4 sausage. You can see the chicken and the apple in there. And I'm going to add to that broccoli or kale. I haven't decided. Maybe kale. And the squash, the butternut squash ravioli. I'll show you that. And furthermore, the state of my refrigerator, every time I think I'm getting it taken care of, there's more leftovers. Anyway, that means I'm making too much. Here's the ravioli, and let me get it out so you can even see the brand. It's a 2-pack from Costco of the butternut squash caramelized onion ravioli. I love this stuff. Love it. But butternut squash, what's not to love, in my opinion. I'm going to go through my refrigerator today, too. Empty it, wipe it down, put it back, especially this mess down here. All right, these chicken sausage apple rings are done. And this may look burned to some people, but this is how we like it. We like these charred bits. We think it adds flavor and depth of the smoke. So there you have that. And I'm not going to cook the buttermilk. I'm not going to cook the butternut squash until just before they eat it. And of course the kale, if I choose kale, or the frozen bag of broccoli, will be fast. It'll all be, other than this, it's kind of a one-pot meal. Not really, I gotta boil this, so that's 3 pots. Anyway, I'll hush. Coming over here, I kind of tried to organize stuff. We still have some cookies left, and because on New Year's Eve, one of the kids decided to make chocolate chip cookies, and so we still have these. That's what's left of the Christmas candy. Okay, there was one piece here, and I don't know if this is genetic or what. In my family, if you got the last piece of something, you got the last piece of something. That's not how it is here. If there's one piece of something, it'll sit there and go bad before they'll eat it. So I took the last piece. Does anybody else have that in your family? Anyway, maybe we're just animals where I was raised. I took the last piece and I cut it into 3 healthy portions, and there you have it. Maybe they'll eat it now. I also got, because I'm trying to empty my freezer, 2 Costco muffins out of the freezer, and I will cut these in half and make them 4 and probably stick them around in the same, I'll get a bigger plate maybe, and so those will be there for them too. And I put away the dishes and I washed what was in here. I'm gonna clean out the sink and clear a space so that I can get to cleaning my refrigerator. Ugh. Well, here I am back. Whoops, let's see if I can get this light to work. All right, so I've been putting this off for days. I'm going to take 3 bags of the great value. I don't know why I've been putting it off, because it is so easy. All I have to do is pour it on the tray and stick it in the dehydrator. When you dehydrate vegetables like this, most of them you can't just put directly on the tray and dehydrate, or that's the advice. A lot of them you have to blanch first, but onions, green peas, there are a couple other things that you can just do. You don't have to blanch them if they've been frozen, flash frozen. So I have, oops, I just threw that. I have the tray itself, and if you're doing big things like orange slices like I did a few weeks ago, you don't need this plastic thing, but you do with little onions. So I'm just going to see how many of the bag here I can get on the tray. So this right here, this is not good. You can't, that's just going to lay there and cause moisture. So I'll break it up before I put it in. I was out in the garage. I got these out of the deep freeze. I was out in the garage slamming the bags on the garage concrete floor, you know? So I'm going to get a whole bag on a tray. That's awesome. Now, the reason that I'm not worried about it not having space to get around and dehydrate it really well is because these are going to shrink, 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 and they're going to more than fit as they start. And every so often, I'll open this back up, the dehydrator. I had the Kasori dehydrator, and I love it. It's one of my purchases that I made that I can absolutely say no regrets. Same with my KitchenAid stand mixer. I have regrets and have just given away or sold other things. I never used my yogurt maker. Just some things, you know, that I thought, well, too quickly on it, didn't give it enough time. No, really, I eat yogurt sometimes, but I'm not an everyday yogurt eater. So a yogurt maker wasn't the best idea for me. Okay, this tray is done, and it will just slide in, and I will show you that in a minute. This is the last bag, and each bag is 10 ounces, so there's about 30 ounces here, and it looks like a lot of onions, but it's not even going to fill a jar. It'll fill a jar if it's tall and skinny, but I usually put them in like a glass mayonnaise jar size maybe. So they have lots of room. You don't want to pack anything dehydrated tightly into a small space. You want it to be able to breathe. And shake it, shake it, shake it every time you think about it. When you go in for something else and you see it sitting there, shake it. You want to check all the time to make sure it's not getting sticky in there. And if it is, it's not ruined. As long as you don't see anything mold-like, just stick it back in a dehydrator if you don't use them fast enough. I use them fast enough. I use this in sauces, soups, stews. Whenever I'm out of an onion, I pull these out. If it's something like you're gonna, you know, make a sauce or a soup or a stew. And so I will put this in and show you that. I'll have to take you off the stand for that. Oops, all I did was turn the light out. So there we go, 3 trays. If you have this brand, you probably know, after you've used it for a while, you start to remember things like how much is gonna fit, what's the temperature. Something I do is I don't typically follow whatever a recipe time says. I go by feel, smell, you know, all of that. My senses tell me when it's done. And I'm gonna go at least what it says in the recipe, sometimes more. So it's got a door that, oh, here, they slide out really easy. The fan is at the back rather than top or bottom. So all the food gets some of the love from the fan. And then you shut this, turn it on to 125 degrees. I'm going to set it for 12 hours because that's what it sets if you don't set a time, is 12 hours. And we'll check it in 12 hours. There's something I forgot to show you. It just says digital display. I put it on 12 hours, 125 degrees. I also wanted to say, why would you want to do this? Why would you choose to dehydrate little vegetables like chopped carrots, peas, onions? It's because they're not taking up room as a frozen or, you know, fresh in my refrigerator or freezer. So there's that. And I just run out of I run out of carrots too, but I run out of onions often. And this is a fallback. You know what else I just remembered? Another good thing to do is only do this when you find onions on a really good sale, or your onions are going to go bad and you're not going to use them because you're going on vacation or just you're going to be busy. Now look at the difference here in the onions after they've done their dehydration. I did them for 12 hours and then I did them for a little longer even. Now I'm just going to let them cool down because they're not fully done until they're fully cool. You can see the fan. I don't know if that picks up on the camera, but it takes a minute to, not a minute, but a few seconds to slow down. They're a lot smaller now, take up a lot less room. They, you know, shrunk. And I'll get a jar ready. After they're cool, I'll put them in that. I have water getting ready to come to a boil here. And I have in this pot, I have the chicken apple sausage. some mushrooms, some olive oil, and some Alfredo sauce. And then I took some half and half and shook out what was left. You know how when you pour out a jar of Alfredo sauce, maybe you make your own and you've never done that. Well, let me tell you, if you buy jarred Alfredo sauce, when you shake it out, you have to either go in there with a spatula to get it out because it's pretty thick, the last of it, or you can shake some extra half and half or whole whipping cream in there and get it out that way. And that spreads, it makes more, I think, more sauce. So this is going to warm together. And then as soon as it's nice and warm and mixed, I'm going to add whatever that was that they gave me of the kale in the grocery haul. It was a bag of kale. Okay, so I washed it, I rinsed it, I did the swirly thing to get all the water off of it, and it's just been waiting here for me. And oh, the butternut squash will go into the water here as soon as this is done and this is boiled. That looks like a lot of mushrooms right now, but it's going to shrink way down. And everybody in our family are mushroom lovers. I don't think there's anybody in the family that doesn't love mushrooms. And that's fortunate that I can put it in things and nobody complains. I wondered what I was going to do with that clean dish. Now I know. Everything is put away Christmas in the house. There's still a tree on the front porch, that little one. That's a pile of books that I need to give to Patience or to Emmett, the grandchildren, the little ones. The tree is in the bag, so it needs to go out too. I ended up with 5 totes, 1 tree here, and 1 small tree bolted to a table that I'll throw a hefty bag over, and it'll keep it from getting dusty all summer long. So the sauce and the mushrooms and the kale are in, and it continues to cook down. I'm not going to make it sloppy. I'm going to turn it off and just keep it warm, and that way it'll make it nice and done tender instead of done sloppy. I mean the kale, not the mushrooms. We have boilage for the butternut squash. I just cannot understand why I won't stop calling it that, but it's ravioli is what it is. It's butternut squash and caramelized onions ravioli. I believe that there's cheese and onions inside the ravioli. And then I just use 1/2, I think, and freeze the other half. All right, it says 4 minutes, and then drain it, and we can add it to the other ingredients in the other pan. I like to use this pan because it has a built-in drainer on the lid, and there's a husband or a kid, I'm not sure which. All right, I took 1 tray off, and that's how much 1 tray did. I may switch to a bigger jar because, like I said, you don't want to crowd it. You want breathing room. And these are really easy to do. You bend these real easy, and when you do, it pops them off. A lot of times onion will have natural sugar. What's on my finger? Just a shadow. Okay. It'll have natural sugar and it'll stick to the tray. But that's okay. You can get it off easily. I don't mean stick like real bad. So I'll get this put away and taken care of, and that'll be that. For sure, I'm going to need another jar, a bigger one. So I'll go get that now. I hate to wash jars when I don't have to. There we go. That's how much this big jar held. I just wanted it to take up less room on my pantry shelf, but that's fine. I should do it all the way to the top because I use dehydrated onions and dehydrated peas more than anything, I think. Okay, it's done, and I just wanted you to see what it looked like plated, and I'll see if I use that as a thumbnail, maybe not. But anyway, thank you for stopping by. If you liked anything you saw, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I love to chat. Never be afraid to make a comment, even a short comment. I love to chat. So I'm here with all adult males' help. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Evening. It's evening now almost.